welcome back to the Midwest Digital Marketing Conference Facebook Live series. My name is Brianna Smith. I am the Executive Director of the conference. And in this series, I sit down with some of our amazing speakers. I might be a little biased, but our amazing speakers to talk about some of the hottest topics in digital marketing, the topics that they'll be talking about at the conference and the conference itself. And so today, I'm really excited. It's our fourth episode for the 2021 conference series. And I have a very special guest. She is one of our fabulous speakers for this year's conference. So you will see her at the conference this year. And it is Ashlee Sang. Ashlee is based in Central Illinois, so not too far from me here in St. Louis. And she runs Ashlee Sang Consulting. She works with purpose-driven businesses on brand messaging strategy to grow and amplify their mission. Before doing marketing consulting, she worked with a human rights education NGO in Senegal and a local branch of Habitat for Humanity. Ashlee's portfolio ranges from small businesses to community organizations in ethical fashion, tech for impact, government, and beyond. And I'm so excited to welcome Ashlee to today's episode.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we are so excited to have you. Can you tell everybody a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so I am in Bloomington, Illinois. So yeah, not too far from St. Louis. And I went to school at WashU in St. Louis, so it has a very special place in my heart.
Yes.
And I have been on my entrepreneurial journey for 2 years full time. And I was freelancing on the side before that. So one of my favorite things is having my hands in a lot of different organizations and a lot of different causes. And yeah, I love just meeting really passionate, visionary founders.
Well, I get that. I can't just have one job. Everyone jokes. You always have to have lots. Keep busy, but it's exciting to do. All right, so if you guys are joining us for the first time, if you have any questions at any point, I'm going to ask Ashlee some of the questions I have. But if you have any questions about what we're discussing or the conference, throw them in the chat. Or if you just want to say hi, throw it in the chat. If you're watching after the fact, because I know everyone can't join us live, again, throw your questions and comments below, and we will definitely answer them. All right, so I'm going to dive into some of the questions that I have for Ashlee. And the first one is, why are personas so important for businesses to grow?
So I really see your audience and therefore the personas surrounding them as your anchor. If the purpose of your business is to make change through your customers, then it makes sense that they should be at the center of everything you do and say and choose for your business. So the better you understand your audience, the better decisions you can make. And that translates to more growth and more impact ultimately.
Awesome. Yes, I think sometimes we just get ahead of ourselves and we don't think about the persona development, which is so critical to building everything else on. It's kind of like you're building your strategy on shaky surface if you don't have these developed.
Yeah, definitely.
So you mentioned in your bio that I read, you talk about working with purpose-driven businesses. So what does it mean to be a purpose-driven business?
Yeah, so luckily most businesses are moving in that direction anyway. But for me, it really means being connected to a cause that's bigger than yourself as the founder and bigger than just your profits. So the profit part is extremely important because that's what allows you to keep growing and be self-reliant. That's sort of what sets businesses with social impact apart from a nonprofit, because they sell things to then have money to then have greater impact. But generally for my clients, their purpose-driven aspect really translates to that social impact work. Or environmental considerations. But it can really be adapted to any business model, which I love. So like as a solopreneur myself, the types of clients I work with, the types of causes I help amplify, the fact that I'm part of 1% for the planet, even as one person, I can have all of this impact through my business, which I find really exciting. So Yeah, I just love that business can have so much potential to be an avenue for positive change. So I think if you have that purpose at the baseline, then you're definitely moving in the right direction.
Awesome. I agree. And I definitely think I see a lot more businesses that you can see their purpose behind their brand more and more now than I think ever before.
Definitely.
If you guys know, if there's a brand that comes to mind, I'd love to know like what you guys think of as a purpose-driven brand if you had to pick one off the top of your head. Mm-hmm. And you also touched on that you've been a full-time entrepreneur for 2 years, but we all know that the entrepreneurial spirit has probably always been there. What is something or more than one thing that you've learned as an entrepreneur that you could share with our audience?
Yeah, I've learned that it's a journey. There is no end game with running a business, which for a perfectionist like me can be really, really hard. I like to tick the things off the box or off the list.
Yep.
But there is always something to learn. And even after you sort of think, oh, wow, I finally understand my audience, or I finally nailed this offering, there's always that up level that's coming for you. So I find that as soon as you sort of find that space to breathe, that next thing is right on the horizon. And that's one of the most challenging and exciting parts about entrepreneurship. And I think like, if you know, you know, and if that's not for you, then being an entrepreneur is also not for you.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, you have a never-ending list, but I think an entrepreneurial spirit does have that learning spirit as well. We just love to learn.
Yeah, and grow, right? Like it's sort of, you like to put yourself out of that comfort zone for the sake of let's see what'll happen.
Yeah,
and it's fun. It's a fun adventure for sure.
Yes, I completely agree. If you are a entrepreneur as well, throw that in the comments too. I'd love to see all the entrepreneurs out there, whether big or small. Just because you're not doing it full time does not mean you are not an entrepreneur. You are still building your own business. So at the conference, which we are so excited to have you at this, you are having a breakout session called the Power to the Persona, Defining Your Audience for Purpose-Driven Business. So kind of topics we've just talked about, but what can people expect to learn when they watch your session?
Yeah, so I really believe in actionable information. I don't really love to live in theory. So we'll be talking about the foundations of a good audience persona and how to actually build one or however many, segments of your audience you think you need. I definitely recommend starting with one and then growing from there based on your offerings and your regions and the size of your business, essentially. And we'll be walking through use cases so that hopefully anyone listening in, no matter where they are in their business journey, will be able to adapt the session to their audience and their growth goals. So yeah, like first-time entrepreneur, haven't even thought about my audience, oops, or really well-established, ooh, when was the last time we really brushed up on understanding and getting in the heads and hearts of our audience? So yeah, hopefully it'll be extremely translatable from session to actual implementation.
Yeah, I definitely think this would be, applicable to pretty much any business, just because I always find that people, they develop their personas initially, and then it's kind of like you develop them and you kind of forget about them a little bit, because personas, they're like people. They're always evolving. They, our habits change, our interests change, and so do, the personas. So I think, no matter what business you're in, this is probably going to be applicable to you, and you're going to want to make sure to catch Ashlee's session. But, and you kind of already talked on this, is there anyone else in particular you think that would really benefit from like your session? Like that you get over 70 on-demand sessions when you register for the conference. So it's a lot of content. You do get a year But anyone in particular you think that like this is going to be very applicable today? Like you should add it to the top of your list.
Yeah. So I think if you consider yourself a decision maker, you should attend the session. So a customer avatar might seem really rudimentary for a founder or a CMO. But when you think about it, they're the essential building blocks of a solid business. So these audience personas that we're going to be talking about are meant to be leveraged to make real operational decisions. Like they're not meant to live on the shelf of your hard drive, like they're actually meant to be living and breathing and help you write your website copy. Or if you need to choose a vendor, refer to your customer persona and what they value. That like your vendor should be aligned with the audience and what they care about. Do you need to hire someone? Refer to your audience persona to make sure that that new team member is able to understand and serve your ideal customer. So these are not just like fluffy exercises, even though it might seem like it. They're actual like tools that can be referred back to for real operational decisions. And then of course, beginners should also take the step to work through their customer personas. So if you're just launching a project or a business or a new offering, then you should listen in and start thinking about who you're trying to reach and how to make that really fuzzy idea a lot more concrete.
I love the idea of using your personas for your vendor choices and for hiring. That is one I personally haven't thought of before, but it makes perfect sense. So I don't know, when you said that really stuck with me right then and there, because it does. It's not just what social media sites you're on or what blogs you're writing. It really is your whole business that these personas should impact.
Exactly.
And so, like I said, there's over 70 speakers at the conference, on-demand sessions, and then there are 14 live sessions that anyone can attend for free. So even if you don't purchase a basic or ultimate ticket, so you don't purchase a paid ticket, sign up for the conference. You can attend the 14 live sessions for free, which include people like TikTok, a speaker from the Social Dilemma documentary, Facebook, just so many different speakers. But is there anyone in particular you're really excited to see their session?
Yeah, so I saw that there's a Power of Podcasting panel that really caught my eye. I've been doing a few podcast interviews recently and sort of toying with the idea of starting a podcast, like really back of the mind sort of thinking. And so we'll see if that session tips the scales in any way for me.
Awesome. Yes. No, that should be. We have some really talented panelists on that session. And if you're thinking about starting a podcast, I know sometimes it can seem overwhelming, but I think that will be a good session to kind of help you figure out, is this right for you? Because maybe it doesn't align with what your personas would want. And also how to get started, because that might seem overwhelming as well. Awesome. So I don't see any questions right now. Lots of you on watching, I can see, but if you have any questions later, again, throw them in the comments, whether it's about the conference or being a purpose-driven business or your persona development. I know I already learned, I love these because I always learn something. Applying personas to your vendor choices and your hiring. I love that. So tell us what you learned as well. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, the Midwest Digital Marketing Conference is April 26th to the 29th live, and then all of our on-demand sessions release. You can attend for free on the 2 live days. 14 sessions are free. Otherwise, if you do a paid ticket, you also get a workshop, 1 or 2 workshops, and over 70 sessions. So much content. So I hope you can join us and join Ashlee as well and watch her session. Head over to bestmarketingconference.com. So thank you so much, Ashlee, for joining us today. Yep, there's our website, so just head over there. You can check out the schedule, all the speakers, learn a little bit more about Ashlee, and get your tickets as well. And yeah, so thank you so much, Ashlee, for joining us today for our 4th episode. And I can't wait to see your session at this year's conference.
Thanks so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing everyone there.
Awesome. Thank you so much.